This dream is called Invasion. I had this dream in February of 2022. And what it was, I was in first person. I was walking along the edge of a farm field out in farm country in the Midwest, in an area where I grew up. And I was following someone. There was an older gentleman who was wearing khakis, some boots, and a flannel shirt. He had some type of brown hat on, tan hat, matches khakis. Did not recognize who he was. Did not see his face in the dream, nothing like that. But we were walking along the edge of this field where there's like berry bushes and stuff like that. And he was picking some berries by his hand, just walking along. We were just looking around, no talking. And then all of a sudden there was a rumbling and a noise that was coming, and all of a sudden you heard this explosion. You could see in the distance a massive cloud of destruction. I guess you could say it looked similar to a mushroom cloud from a nuclear explosion. And then all of a sudden we started to see planes coming across the sky. Lots and lots of planes. Big planes too. And they weren't super high. They were, I guess you could say a lot closer than normal commercial traffic planes would be flying at. There was a bunch of them too. And they were flying over, and as they were flying over, there were more explosions you could hear in the distance. There were some missiles being shot. But there was no counter presence. There was no other airplanes attacking them, nothing. There was no counter missiles being shot off, nothing like that. And these planes were just rolling straight across, and you could hear in the distance bombs being dropped, missiles being shot, everything like that. Now the interesting thing is, it was springtime. I'll tell you that because the foliage was starting to come out on some of the plants. Some of the stuff was some of the winterized berries, later spring maybe, and stuff like that. Due to the weather and the way we were dressed and everything else. And some of the farm fields were plowed, and seeds, shoots were starting to come up out of the ground from whatever was planted. And another detail was that the planes were flying from the south to the north. You may ask, how do I know this? Because in my dream, the area where we were walking, I knew where it was. I grew up in that area. So I knew exactly where it was, and something pushed on me to say, to note specifically the direction they're flying from south to north. So that is of some significance. And then in my dream, after the planes were flying by, the older gentleman pulled a watch out of his vest pocket, or a pocket near, I guess you would say a vest or something like that. Pocket watch. Opened it, looked at it, closed it, put it back away. And he's like, and he said, without turning me, just looking up at the sky, he said, "Seems about right, just right on time." And there was a pause. And he said, "You were warned 2 months ago this was going to come, this was going to happen." And that was the end of the dream.